Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's the 4th of July weekend, and it's a 4-day weekend. So it gives us lots of opportunity to get some land cleared, keep that thirsty corn watered, and try not to get sunburned. Oh, yeah, there'll be some equipment maintenance as well. So let's go see what kind of fun we can have on the farm this week. And as always, the collies will be there. I thought the mountain looked pretty good on the flight home. I think I've got a pretty good commute to work and back. Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday, July 1st. Beautiful sunny day. It's warming up nicely. Mosquitoes are coming out. And yeah, I do need to mow the grass. We'll do that later today or tomorrow. So we're fixing to head out to the farm. Got lots to do. Dave's already working out there. So we'll get busy. See if Dusty wants to come along today. Hope you guys are having a great day. Dusty's out checking it out with me. These are the peas we planted. These are yellow field peas. They're growing. They're not super thick, but then again, they weren't planted. They were broadcast on the surface. So germination just depended on things being just right for them. They're coming up. Interesting. They got a couple more months of growing, so we'll see what they do. When I look at the results of the field corn so far, some of the plants are doing really well. Here's some that are doing exceptionally well. There's a lot of them that are pretty small, but for the most part, we should have been just clearing the land this year, and we wouldn't be planting anything till next year. So the fact we got a little patch to watch and experiment with is really nice. There is some that's doing better than others. That's good. That'll give us a fair bit of seed for next year, which is important. And again, there's several different types planted here, just to see the difference in how they grow. little bit of a breeze. Really, really pleasant day. Hey, guess who came up this week? We have potatoes. They seem to be pretty happy potatoes too. Okay, time for the morning ritual of servicing the equipment. That requires fueling the equipment, in this case the dozer, greasing it, checking the fluids, and just doing an overall inspection to make sure it's ready to go for the workday. This is a perfect time to do it because you're fresh in the morning and the equipment is cool. And it doesn't take too long, 10-15 minutes, not a big deal. Then after you're done servicing it, you let it warm up a little bit, and then you're off and working. We use too much fuel to be practical with hauling 5-gallon cans out from town, so we actually have a tank in the back of the truck and a pump, and we fill it up at the bulk plant in town. 1, you get a better price when you buy it in bulk than you do at the pump. 2, the diesel we're using is an off-road diesel, so there's no road taxes on it. And it's way more convenient to have it in a pump. Doing a good job maintaining the equipment, keeping clean fluids and clean fuel in it goes a long ways into having reliable, trouble-free days. Well, while I spent a little time waiting for the dozer to warm up, me and Dusty had a conversation. Don't quite remember what we talked about. Pretty sure I did all the talking. He did all the listening. But he is a good listener. When he's out at the farm, he's pretty content to lay under the pickup, or lay in the seat, or lay in the shade in the trees, and watch the world go by. And sometimes I envy that. Doesn't seem like too bad of a life to just sit and watch the world go by. Happiness truly is a state of mind. And maybe we both were just enjoying the view. It's a pretty good view at that. Okay, thought I'd shoot a little dozer video. I sped this up. The dozer doesn't move real fast, and I didn't want to bore everybody to tears. And it is a little bit of a challenge driving a dozer with one hand and holding the camera with the other. But I kept it on the trail for the most part. Main thing I'm doing with the dozer is just collecting all the trees and large woody parts and getting them in a pile. That way they can be burned later on this fall. Doing my darndest to keep the blade out of the dirt and only collect everything on the surface. Not really worrying about the brush. The mulcher will come along and get that. Yep, you even get to mow the lawn occasionally. Well, every week this time of year. We've been so busy on the farm, we haven't been taking as good care of the lawn as we should, but this is one of 4 bush cherries we have. Last year was its first year for producing fruit. It's a semi-sweet tart cherry. George is mowing, thought I'd give a little update of the corn in the backyard. It is doing good. Well, they say knee-high by July. Maybe not quite that much this year, but we're pretty close. We have some sunflowers too that are looking pretty good. Dusty's watching George mow the grass. Here we are taking the dogs out for a walk on the farm. We try to get them out as often as possible. It's about 10:30 at night. Just a beautiful, beautiful sunny evening. They really enjoy running around, exploring, seeing what's new. And we're exploring too. So much fun. After we were done walking the dogs, we were headed back to town. And when we got ready to pull out onto the road, we noticed the mountain was out in all its glory with the wonderful pink hue of the sunset on it. It always amazes me how beautiful the scenery can be and how exceptionally beautiful the mountain can be, especially with a sunset. All right, everybody. Pretty day. Truck's running. We're gonna get headed out. See what we can get done today. And yep, did get the grass mowed yesterday. I know it seems like every video it's a beautiful sunny day. And the reality is the interior of Alaska is sunny almost every day. Sunny and warm in the summer and sunny and cold in the winter. I know, you guys have seen this before. But you gotta look both ways before you cross. Parking at the boat launch was pretty busy this weekend, being it was the 4th of July weekend. Lots of people out on the river. It's pretty amazing to think from this boat launch you can access the Tanana River and the Yukon River and many, many more smaller rivers. A person could spend an entire lifetime just exploring the rivers in Alaska. And before there were roads and airplanes, it was the only practical way to get around in the summertime. They're wide and slow moving, almost like being on a lake. And to think, just 6 months from now, this same river will have many feet of ice on it that you can drive over without any problem. Okay, enough about the boring road. Let's get back to the farm and get to farming. Okay, out at the farm. I'm going to get the dozer fueled up and get it warmed up and ready to go. Grease it and a few other things you do every day. Corn's looking good. That fertilizer really helped. It's starting to perk up. So we'll see how that turns out over the next week or so. Good day, clear, couple of clouds off in the horizon. Otherwise, looks like it should be a good day. Dave's over working that away. We'll go over and check him out here after a while. Otherwise, we'll get rolling. Like most mornings, the mountain was out to say good morning and hello. It's so great to have scenery like that while you're working. Here's more video of pushing logs up into piles. It seems like it's slow, tedious work, but at the end of the day, when you see how much you've accomplished and how much further you've gotten, it's wonderful. It's always amazing. And as the days turn into weeks and the weeks turn into months, we're slowly getting the land cleared. Just the first step in hopefully successfully growing crops. Good morning. It's another beautiful day today. I think the high temperature yesterday was right around 82. It's supposed to be in the upper 70s today. The corn is growing, which is a good thing. We're going to give it a little bit of food today. We've got a fuel leak on the dozer to fix. We need to service the little generator that powers the pumps. Dave is over working that away. Not too far away. He'll be down the end of the field here. Okay, if I haven't shown this before, I think I have, but mix a stock solution. Happens to be going in a trash can right now because, well, that's what I got. And then it will get inducted into the water line to go out to the corn. Pretty basic system, but given the size of what we got going on and availability of free time, figured it was a good way to go. Well, in our test plots, the mustard is flowering. And I understand it is not a very impressive showing. But hey, it's out, it's growing. The sorghum came up, but it's unhappy. Turnips, again, they didn't do as well as I thought they would. We'll see how it goes as the weather cools off. Millet, it did sprout. It's just kind of hanging out. Sunflowers, they are growing, which amazes me to have seeds scattered out on the ground and they actually sprouted. Hey, oats are okay. Again, for just being thrown out on the ground. They could be better for sure. But the corn's actually starting to get some height on it. It's doing pretty good considering it's the first crop planted in this ag development and with virtually no ground preparation. And not exactly in the best spot. It was an okay spot, it's what we had available, so that's what we planted. We definitely will make changes next year. Looking forward to that already. Update on the peas. They're growing. Again, just for scattering them out on the ground. Okay, so got that one out, I guess. Okay, we have a fuel leak. It's up under the seat. The leak is coming from this fitting right here. So first thing to do is I have to remove the fuel from the tank. Then we'll take that off and see what ails it. Okay, siphoning the fuel out. There might have been 15 gallons in there, but there's no good way to get that off without draining all the fuel out. So just put a hose on the valve. Was going to pump it out, but the pump I have, the suction tube on it is too tall to fit past this rollover protection. It's pretty short, but it came with the dozer, so it's okay. This is one of the wetter spots on the property. Plenty of big trees in it, so we know it'll grow stuff. It was a little smushy a few weeks ago, so we took a break. But it's dried out quite a bit. You can see there are lots of logs that have to be picked up and stacked. Quite a few moose walking around out here. So, as you can see behind me, this is that one little outcropping of black spruce that didn't burn during the fire. So, a little extra wet. But as we can see over in this area, it is drying out. So get this off, get the material off, get it disced up. We'll see what it looks like next year. A little difficult to know for sure exactly how it's going to turn out. But getting the trees and the brush off is the first step. And then it all determines on what we find out in the way of the contours, whether it's good ground for hay, whether it's something you'd want to put grain on. We don't have any livestock, but certain types of acreage would be really good for livestock, for grazing. For us, the biggest thing is to make sure we get a tractor over it. Nothing too steep, which there's very little of that on this ground anyways. And hopefully when we're here in this same spot next year, these big piles will be gone and be disced up. And we'll see where we go from there. May put a cover crop of oats in, or some other kind of crop to just disc it up, work it, and don't know if we'll go right to hay or not on some of this. It's nice to work it for a couple years before you actually get it into hay. But we will know a whole lot more when the time comes. Kind of interesting. It's not often we see a hollowed out tree where we live. I know down in the States you might find that a little more in big older oaks or something. Kind of cool. Got the line fixed on the dozer. No more leak. So it is ready to go. Pretty nice day. A little bit overcast, which is really helping with the sun. It's about 74, 75 degrees. I've seen over in Dot Lake, they're saying 78 or 79. Let's hope the corn likes it just as much. Okay, the crop's planted up on top of the hill. These are the oats. Like they're a little stressed, pretty short. But given where they're at, what's going on, that's okay. Then we have the barley. Looks like it's tolerating the conditions a little better. And we have some rye. Looks like it's doing okay. Maybe a little stressed. Also may depend on where a little bit of fertilizer got put. Now these are hulless oats. Dave is killing trees. Peas. So it pitches wood a fair distance. Why you do not want to be in the front of one of those, boys and girls. Okay, over the last couple days, this is what Dave's gotten done. Bumblebee, sure do like this bush in front of the house. It's not quite open all the way yet. It will be the next day or two, but it's close. It is 4th of July. Nice day. Not as hot as the last couple, but it'll be in the upper 60s, maybe 70 today. The not so glamorous part of mulching. You can see, but down in there, there's all kinds of debris built up. Probably 4 or 5 inches. Using the vacuum, I got to a bunch. But I actually need to go ahead and pull the inspection cover off the bottom and dig it out. It's about 150 hours of mulching here in the really dry stuff. So it just finds its way in there. Well, let's get her done so we can get back to work. Okay. So everybody knows what we got going on. There's the cover. In pretty good size, be lots of room to reach in there and just scoop that stuff out. Just something that has to be done if you don't want a fire hazard. We're at about 500 hours on this skid steer, and so far maintenance has been minimal and relatively easy. Its first oil change was right around 300 hours. That's earlier than the 500 hour recommended interval by Caterpillar. And I'm sure 500 hours is fine. I didn't mind doing it a little bit early. It happened to be a good time to do it, so it got changed ahead of schedule. There's probably a little difference between renting a piece of equipment or leasing it. In this case, it's a purchase, so therefore this piece of equipment will be around the farm for a very long time. So making sure we keep up on the maintenance to maximize the life of the equipment is very important. And also to minimize downtime. As the summer is short, we want to make sure we make use of every day and every hour that we have to get as much work done as possible. We figure there's about 170 acres of land to be cleared on this particular farm project. So that'll be somewhere around 2,000 hours of actual runtime. But so far, we couldn't be happier with how well this piece of equipment performs and how easy it is to maintain, do oil changes, grease, and everything else involved with operating the equipment. Well, look at that. Already got the cover back on. Get those bolts all tightened back up so nothing falls off while we're using it. There was probably 1.5 5-gallon buckets of debris that came out of the engine compartment. It probably didn't have to be cleaned at this particular time, but it was getting filled up. It was a pretty day and a good time to do it and get it out of the way. Now that that's all handled, we can get back to work. This is doing some mulching up in some of the thicker brush on one of the back corners of the property. This is looking like it's going to be pretty nice ground, and probably where we'll plant corn next year. Okay, it's Tuesday afternoon, the 4th. Some rain clouds that may be coming in. Nice to get a sprinkler too. The corn is looking good. Oh, it's growing fast. Likes this warm weather, that's for sure. Okay, we'll do a potato update. They are looking pretty good. They're up and growing, so that's a good thing. Okay, some of the field corn. It's already starting to tassel. You can see it down in there. See if we can find another one along here. Yep, there's another one right there. So they are doing good. There's another one. There's a fair bit of them. You have to remember, these are little guys. They're only going to get about 2 foot tall. So it's okay that they're little and short. That's what we're looking for. They don't need to put any energy into growing big stalks because they just have little ears. So. And this corn out here planted very conventionally without enough nutrients. It's a little bit off color, but there's even a tassel starting to come out of one of those. And we still have easily 55 to 60 days of growing left. So we'll see what happens. The crew out here at the farm sure would like to thank everybody for stopping by to watch the videos. If you like what you see, subscribe. It does help for sure. And hope you come back and check in with us next week and see what's new and exciting. I'm sure there'll be more land clearing and quite possibly more equipment repairs. And more importantly, more collie time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.